Yes, I am not a financial advisor. I am just somebody who studies it all day. Take it or leave it. You know. I'm not selling anything.
What's the best crypto to invest long term? Like
the ones I said, I think are long term.
The three golden ones.
Those three, the other thing is, I like ones. I don't know if it's going to be the absolute best, but I feel safe that I don't have to worry about it every day. It's not going to completely fail. Yes, sir.
What is the really, really, really secret one?
The next best one?
Yeah.
I'll tell you later. All right. Yes.
Do you still have storage? Do you believe in it?
What?
Do you still have storage? Do you believe in it?
Storage. So there are one other thing I do own a teeny bit of. It's called STORJ. It is so what they're doing is if you have an extra hard drive space, you can sign up for them that you're allowing them to send these encrypted shards of like storage space onto your computer, and you get paid in their cryptocurrency for doing the storage. And then if you are someone who wants to store files instead of using Amazon's, you use this storage computing to save. So they're competing against Amazon. And it's a really well-run company. I like it for a bunch of reasons. So I do own a teeny bit of it. I do kind of believe in it. I think the guy who runs it looks like seems like a super genius, and they've hired some amazing people, and they're growing. It's like 50% a month. They actually stopped taking new customers because they realized they were blowing out their existing system and have to rewrite it. And so it looks like it's pretty good, actually. I like it.
Do you have an opinion on Monero?
So Monero is a privacy coin. There's a lot of privacy coins, which means Bitcoin is not really private. So that is, I put in one of the categories of a coin, maybe a Bitcoin killer. But so like I said, I think that privacy comes to Bitcoin through the Lightning Network. So I wouldn't buy a privacy coin because to me Bitcoin becomes a privacy coin, and I just want to hold and not have to trade. But at the same time, there'll be people may need certain types of privacy, and Bitcoin doesn't have it right now, and so there's a use for Monero, and maybe, Monero upgrades, and then Bitcoin has privacy, but there's a few things that if you wanted to do, they can't do it, and you need Monero. So it might be okay, and some of these privacy coins may find their niche or do interesting things, and also until Lightning Network's up, certainly. But like I said, I'm not buying any privacy coins. Any more? Yes.
Is there a way to start a crypto portfolio for your kids if they're under 18?
You just buy it and put it in a you can, if you get, when you learn how to store it, you get this thing called Ledger Nano, which is just a thing to, instead of logging in and putting in your private key, which has theoretical risks that someone could find it, you log in with this little Ledger Nano thing, it's called. And within that, you can have multiple public keys. So you could theoretically have one account that you say, okay, this is for my kid. I bought whatever. I bought 1 Bitcoin. I'm going to send 0.2 of it to this account. I'm going to send 0.2 to that account and 0.2 to this account. And this one's, and just sort of keep track of it, Yes.
Do you have an opinion about Vitalik's philosophy about creating forks whenever necessary?
Creating what?
Forks whenever necessary.
Well, what do you mean about creating, I think that every cryptocurrency and so for those of you, you have the chain, and everyone has to agree to what the chain is. But if some of the computers think, well, we want the chain to go this way, and that others think it's this way, the whole thing splits, and then there's sort of 2 of it. And so I think most crypto communities want to stay as one group and not split and become 2. And so, but at the same time, sometimes it splits off. It's like 10% splits off, and then they do their own thing. So I think, I don't know what you're talking about with Vitalik Buterin runs Ethereum. And he said something about, so people are sort of like, forks are cool. If you want to fork and do your own thing, fork you, go do it. But at the same time, they probably don't want people to fork and want everybody, let's all figure it out together. But
Well, his comment, I think it was a month ago, was that he said that if it was necessary to create a fork, then they absolutely should do it.
Well, maybe you're talking about the other thing is if you want to upgrade, some upgrade, so you got to upgrade the technology. Sometimes the upgrade requires what is called, it's sort of called a fork, but if everybody agrees, everybody has to upgrade. Sometimes they do an upgrade, it's like, here's something that'll make it better, and people put it on their computer, but if you don't install it on your computer, you're still running the network. You're still on the chain. Sometimes they do an upgrade where if you don't upgrade, you fall off the chain. And then all the people who didn't upgrade become their own chain, and it's a fork. So sometimes there's an upgrade that is so necessary that you do it, and everybody has to do the upgrade. And so that's probably what he's talking about, that occasionally you have to do sort of a fork upgrade. And hopefully, though, everyone moves along, and if there's sort of no fork, it would be the best case. Anything else? Yes?
We live in a world of automation. Shouldn't the upgrades be automated by now? Why does everyone have to keep tabs on it?
Well, because people are running the server, and there's software. If it was automated, then who's running the automation? And then, because theoretically, the reason Bitcoin will only be 21 million Bitcoins is because there's not just some machine or something that's going to send out the update and it's automatically updated. I'm going to say, what? I don't want more than 21 million unless I'm getting the extra ones, maybe. So I'm not going to upgrade my laptop or my node with that new software. So the softwares do require.
So how do you keep up with that? Do you get a notification?
Well, if that's your business, you don't have to run a node, which is like mining. If you heard of, you don't have to do that. You can just buy Bitcoin and save it. I have my Bitcoin saved on the blockchain. I'm not running any. Well, that's enough. I'm trying to figure out how to run Lightning Network nodes, but just in general, you don't need to be in that business if you don't want to. If there was something in the news and like there's a movement and people are going to create more Bitcoins and it's only going to go to these people, you may want to figure out how to run a node. It's not that difficult, and so that you can be part of the chain that doesn't go in that bad direction. But at this point, you don't need to do that.
So if you're into not trading, basically accumulating wealth by holding, what are your thoughts on proof of stake?
I think for these things, proof of stake, I think is coming. So mining. How to explain this is.
It's like holding. So you basically, like I was saying before with Lumen, like those banks could just hold, and then they could potentially be like staking those coins. Basically,
Well, Lumens doesn't have staking. So here's the thing: is that the network is secured because to approve a transaction, you have to do a certain amount of work to prove that you're not going to screw the system, because it costs you money. It costs enough money in the work you do, this is the Bitcoin thing with mining, solving these problems. People say there's so much energy used to run the Bitcoin network. Is this mining? It uses a lot of energy. So they've come up with a new way of running the network, which instead of doing mining and forcing all these computers to solve a bunch of useless puzzles to prove that they have an interest in the system, is you just take your tokens that you have and stake them on the node, and they're locked up, and if you screw with the network, you lose your tokens. And the thing about staking is it's much faster. You don't have to use up all this energy and have computers running to solve puzzles. So staking is a better way. And so Ethereum has some of the best engineers, and they're bringing proof of stake to Ethereum to replace the mining. I think that's going to happen. It may take a few years. And then if Ethereum does it successfully, then I think Bitcoin probably has to do it in the future. So I think staking is coming, and then if it's Ethereum and Ethereum has staking, and you can get in, it might be you need 1,000 Ethereum to be a staker, in which case that's a lot of money. So
Do you recommend masternodes to anybody?
so now masternodes is another system for securing the network. I only like the networks I like. If a network I liked had masternodes, then maybe I'd want to do a masternode. But I don't know any networks that I like that have masternodes, so I'm not going to do a masternode, you know. And by the way, Vitalik Buterin hates masternodes because it's a type of centralization, and he, you know.
Like stellar pools, though.
What?
You can get money from stellar. You pool it, you get in a pool group together.
That's a different thing. Stellar has a thing you can earn inflation. That's a whole. I mean, we're getting into the sort of you can actually. There's a way to earn extra money on your Stellar. You can earn 1% a year.
Yeah. You know, we've seen through the last 4 years of the floor getting higher or the resistance level getting higher in Bitcoin. Do you think that the Lightning Network is going to achieve a higher floor level?
Floor of price?
Resistance of price? I mean, the
Bitcoin
Lightning Network
story that I think you can invest in is store of value, which means you're just taking it and storing it like you would with gold. You're not going to spend it. If Bitcoin becomes something that you can spend everywhere, that's a whole nother parabolic move up, which I wouldn't bet on yet because it hasn't happened yet. Yes.
So you think that Lightning Network will actually make Bitcoin go up in value, but if people are using it on a day-to-day basis, and you're using a smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller percent, do you think that it would actually be conducive for it to actually create a stable price?
I think the price stability comes with adoption. If people are when people are adopting it, you know, it's growing at this huge pace, you get the price shooting up. Eventually, everybody owns it, and then the price isn't going to go up. I mean, something, the winner, eventually everybody owns, and so then it becomes stable. So until you get there, the price is moving up. And the whole thing with volatility is sort of like, it's a function of how fast it goes up. I'm not scared of volatility because if something goes up 10x and falls by 50%, I'm still up by 5x. So I don't care. It's not like oil, which is like, you know, it goes from $30 to $60, back to $30 to $60. It's just shooting up, and it has its bumps, but the bumps down are a lot less than the shoot ups. So, but yeah, until it's fully adopted, it's volatile. Yes.
Can you tell us anything interesting? Did you say you went to that the convention in Santa Monica Monday, Tuesday?
I went to this crypto summit Monday, Tuesday.
Anything interesting out of that summit that you can share?
I met some people that was kind of fun. Maybe I met some people that are good to know, you know, socially. And then it was okay. It was a lot of very small niche, new ideas, which you know me, I like the old boring things. But that guy, what's his name, Draper, Tim Draper, and his son Adam Draper spoke, which was kind of interesting. It was kind of fun. And then I wasn't there for that long, actually. I took off. I had to get ready for this event, which is much better. Anything else? Should I keep going here?
Yeah. Keep on going.
The amount I read somewhere that the people that are doing Ethereum coins are using a lot of their Ethereum coins to do so. So do you see any repercussions of that in the overall?
People who are what? Say that again?
So people that are producing Ethereum coins different off the platform are using their Ethereum like monetary value to do so.
I don't understand the question.
Okay. Maybe I'll talk to you offline.
Using the
Basically, I
Ethereum.
think there might be some sort of market effects from all people trying to produce all these Ethereum.
You mean the ERC20 token. So Ethereum is a platform, and one of their killer apps was, you can just go on and create your own token. So a lot of the popular tokens are on the Ethereum platform. So to me, when you own Ethereum, it's almost like owning a mutual fund on all these other token business ideas, because of like this OMG is one I kind of like. And so you could buy OMG, but if OMG is good, that's good for Ethereum. But what?
So I'm saying there's so many of these coins, but they go bust, that can have repercussions like in actual price. Do you see that?
It's the overall. So if they all go bust at the same time, that's probably not good for Ethereum. But my guess is that it's sort of like things fail and new things are coming up, and overall it's growing, continues to grow. I'm sure many, there's some statistic that already, I don't know what percent whatever, 60% of all the ICOs from last year are already gone, just disappeared. So, but did anybody notice? You know, so.
Do you think that it opens up Ethereum to legal exposure from the SEC if all these fraudulent tokens are being operated on their network?
Well, Ethereum is a decentralized. No one's in charge. What are they going to do? I don't know. You know, they can. So Ethereum, there's talk of, well, Ethereum is a security, which means then you can't have it on this exchange, and then the government starts. You know, now they have to kick it off Coinbase, and all that hurts the value. But at the end of the day, the value is the value of the network, which is decentralized and can't be stopped. So eventually it would refine its value. But if the government tomorrow said Ethereum is a security, I think the value would immediately go down a fair amount.
Any more questions? We have time for one more question. Any takers? No? No?
Last one.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you, everybody, for coming. If you have any more questions, go to Dave's YouTube. Thank you. Okay.
Lord Crypto.
Enjoy the food, the drinks, whatever. You guys can take care of it.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Gabriella.
Can I ask you a
Thank you.
question?
Yeah, one sec. Let me just finish. Video, you want to pitch anything, Gabrielle?
Hey, no, I just want to.
Gabrielle through the event. She's. One
I've
more.
had too much wine.
One more thing. Very important. Our sponsor, Chris Zacuto. Playa Vista is the greatest place in the world to live. If you need a place, you talk to him.
$4 million. We're starting a hedge fund.
You can pay crypto.
Yeah.
Are you accepting crypto?
All crypto and the jewel houses and Playa Vista homes. Google's coming with 3,000 people.